There we go. Hello there. Can you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Andrea Tekulja-Solat. I'm a media teacher in Auckland Valley School, and I have a master's degree in digital media as a cultural and technological form.
Right, my first question for you is, do you think that news outlets create a moral panic that is unjustified regarding the effects of violence in video games?
I'm not sure I would say there is a moral panic. I would say there is ongoing negative approach, not only to video games, but to social media in every media platform. This is, I believe, the nature of media. Media is simply, I'm talking here predominantly about news media, focused on negative phenomena. For example, to simplify, you will never read that somebody was born. You will read about people who died, just to portray it in such a simple way. That is the nature of news publishing. We focused on things that are dangerous, that induce fear, that are negative in any way. Traditionally, historically, this is something that attracts people's attention, and that is why negative sides of both video games and social media are more prolific in news than any positive sides. Yes, to go back to your initial question, yes, I do believe that there is a lot of attention given to potential negative side effects of video games, whereas we rarely hear about many researches that have been conducted that emphasize potentially good effects of playing video games, and there are numerous researches that deal with this.
Do you believe that there are enough options for parents to ensure that their teenagers or children are staying safe online? Do you think there's enough steps from these people who make these apps and make these games that there is a limit in which they are putting effort into making sure that your child's safe?
It's difficult to give a yes or no answer here. I think it very much depends on type of the game, type of parenting, I guess. I would say it very much depends on, as I say, how much parents want to be involved. But there's definitely a space to improve things. Video games are, to an extent, uncharted territory, as is the whole digital sphere when it comes to regulation. Certainly, there could be done more.
Okay. From your own experience, have you had any positive or negative experience from topics surrounding video games or topics involving the media?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Have you had any positive or negative experience involving or surrounding video games or just the media? Is there anything that stands out to you, maybe personally?
But personally, I think if you're talking about social media, I think it's both incredibly fun and incredibly distracting. This is speaking about social media. When it comes to video games, it really depends what kind of games you play. But they, in my personal experience, they can definitely serve social function. The games that I've played or witnessed people playing are very social. They engage people to collaborate, to play in teams, to socialize while they're playing. So I definitely had positive experience when it comes to games.
Have you had any negative experience in the media that you have felt yourself, that you've seen yourself unfold?
The question is a little bit too general. In terms of social media, or what do you mean by media?
Media being social media.
Oh yes, yeah. I would actually say there is, in my personal experience, more negativity and more danger in social media than video games, especially for young people. I think that it's even more difficult to control from parental point of view, social media engagement than video games. So I definitely experienced a lot of negativity in terms of social media being a platform for very unrealistic, curated lives that can definitely. So we'll cut this.
Yeah, we'll cut this. Thank you, sir.
We'll cut this one. Yeah, but we will cut this one. So I just want to make this right. So we're talking about social media, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I already. I mentioned that social media. Let me just repeat that whole thing. So, in my opinion, social media is more challenging to manage, both for parents and for young people. I think it does create unrealistic expectations for young people. It's a platform for some kind of like curated life, because we know that everybody posts just the best parts of their lives. And not only for young people, it's very tricky for anybody involved in social media to resist comparison, to have kind of this higher awareness that things posted on social media are not real.
Okay. And my final question for you is that, do you think that, focusing back on video games now, do you think they're shown in a more positive or negative light in the media?
Yeah, apart from some game reviews, I think that media is very much focused on negative sides of video games. Whenever there is any potential to make a link between violence and video games, media will be first to go down that road and create this sense that it all comes from video games, so that is inspiration for violence. So I do believe that media focuses on negative sides. There's very little space for positive effects of video games, very little. There are numerous researches that have been done that have more balanced perspective, but you will rarely ever read anything about this in media.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.